Also ich habe 20 Fragen.
20 questions. Kidding.
2 Fragen. Soll man Schmerzmedikamente nehmen, die man über einen längeren Zeitraum einnimmt, absetzen, bevor man in den Room geht?
Is it recommended to stop taking drugs against pain, which were used over a longer period of time before going into the blue room?
I mean, that's a great question.
Das ist eine tolle Frage.
You know, I never go against what your doctor will tell you. That just creates a lot of problems. You have to make that choice. I'm going to give you options. Most pain medication only works for a little while. I mean, this is what research will tell us. So we have, in America especially, we have massive addicted patients to opiates. Massive, we have an epidemic. And most pain is a byproduct of inflammation.
Und die meisten Schmerzen sind ein Nebenprodukt
inflammation
von
in the joint,
Entzündungen.
inflammation in the tissue, inflammation of the
Entzündungen
cells.
von Gewebe oder von
The blue room is very effective at decreasing pain.
sehr effektiv.
Now, what I can say if I were
diese
you,
Schmerzen.
if it was me,
Was ich sagen kann, ist,
I would stop
dass
all
wir
pain narcotics.
Das kann es sein, was ich tun würde.
Now
Ich
that
würde
always
keine
comes with the
Narkotika absetzen.
question of how to do this, and it really depends on how long you've introduced that to your
Wie
body
lange hat man das eingenommen?
and how to safely decrease dosages at a safe rate so that there are minimal side effects from stopping medication.
Eine minimale Nebenwirkung entstehen, indem man die
Most pain medication are so liver toxic
Die meisten
and kidney
Schmerzmittel sind sehr
toxic,
toxisch
and they disrupt the natural environment of the stomach that you have to be very careful when you stop them.
Also muss man sehr
And I always introduce vitamin therapy to help with that process as well.
Die Vitamintherapie hilft bei diesem
But
Prozess.
who's heard of curcumin? Curcumin?
Kurkuma
Curcumin? Who's heard of that?
kann man verwenden.
Anybody? Nobody? Oh my
Jemand, der das
God.
nutzt?
It is by far more effective than ibuprofen
Viel effektiver.
at decreasing pain because it
Oder
helps to decrease
Schmerzen.
inflammation in the body. Now what I am doing is research right now on using turmeric and curcumin
Ich
in
nutze
combination with the blue room for chronic pain patients. And we have astounding results. Astounding results. So rheumatoid arthritis is a very difficult disease, especially even osteoarthritis. And most of us as we age, we think, I'm going to have osteoarthritis or some type. It's in our consciousness. And so drug therapy has been what most of the therapy for them has been. So I'm working with rheumatoid and osteoarthritis patients, and curcumin and turmeric and the blue room to decrease inflammation. And the stories are astounding of people returning back to sports after years of not being able to do anything, to being able to pick up their grandchildren again, being able to garden, all of these wonderful things, and some had horrific injuries.
Wir haben ganz tolle Ergebnisse damit.
Kann es sein, dass dieses Licht oder das Licht allgemein eine Art Synapse oder eine Brücke zu einem unsichtbaren Reservoir sein, das uns noch mehr Zufriedenheit bringen könnte?
Can it be that it creates a synapses or a bridge to an unknown reservoir that would bring us more happiness or a happier state and peace
Communication.
and joy?
Yeah, it's an increase in communication.
Es ist
Absolutely.
eine Erhöhung in der Kommunikation.
That's what it is. So simple, yet very profound.
So einfach und doch so grundlegend.
Who's watched Star Trek before?
Wer hat Star Trek angeschaut?
It's a great show.
Das ist-
When I was a little boy, I always loved how the doctor would just run,
Dachte ich immer,
you know, that device over their
einfach so
body,
ein Gerät
and it would heal.
und das dann heilen würde.
Right? Remember this?
Erinnern Sie sich daran?
And I always said, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Und ich dachte mir, wäre das nicht
You have an
wundervoll?
injury, you simply put a frequency,
Verletzung und dann
and it
kommt die
heals.
Frequenz und man ist
and that's why I brought up in the beginning
Deshalb habe ich es am Anfang
that when you have a cut, when you have a bruise, when you have a broken bone, you don't have to think about your body healing. Your body does it, and that's the communication or frequency of communication. So you're talking about the synapse firing to bring communication. That's what this blue room is. It is a massive augmenter of the communication of your body. And it goes further, but we'll talk about that another time.
Ich habe eine Frage, Dr. Med. Wie hoch ist normalerweise die Dosierung von Kurkuma?
The question is, how high is normally the doses of curcuma?
I normally recommend if you have osteo or rheumatoid arthritis,
Normalerweise, wenn man
1,500 milligrams a day.
Arthritis hat,
1,500.
1500.
There's no bad side effects with this. This is a natural
keine Nebenwirkungen.
and it will increase digestion and decrease inflammation. So I normally recommend 1,500 milligrams a day.
1500 grams?
Milligrams.
Milligrams.
1,500 grams, that's a lot. That would be an all-day job. Any more questions?
Weitere Fragen?
Don't be shy.
Also nicht schüchtern.
I have often the experience that in the blue room, at the time, my thinking is disconnected. I cannot get in focus. So has it something to do with the frequencies? In Deutsch, ich habe in den Blue Room Sitzungen oft das Gefühl, dass mein Denken aussetzt und ich keinen Fokus halten kann, ob das was mit den Frequenzen zu tun hat.
That's a very good question.
Sehr gute Frage.
Your focus is determined on what is in your mind.
Ihr Fokus ist darauf,
So,
was
this
in
is,
Ihren Gedanken ist.
I love quantum physics because it really goes into how we should treat patients.
Es geht wirklich darum, wie wir
If you have a normal pattern of thought,
ein normales Gedankenmuster
and
hat.
this pattern of thought has been the way you've always have
Das ist,
thought about
wie
things,
man immer darüber gedacht hat.
and you have a nutritional deficiencies, etc. I mean, different
Nährstoffmangel
things.
hat.
And you go into a place that restores communication in the body.
Wo die Kommunikation
Don't you think that's going to change the way you think?
Was denken Sie, wie
This is
Sie
very
Sie
simple
darüber denken werden?
to kind of
Das ist
understand.
sehr einfach zu
So
verstehen.
you fire a certain way outside of the blue room. Your mind fires in a certain way. And then you go into the blue room, which is designed to increase communication in the body, and you find that you can't think the same way. It's a very good thing.
Das ist eine ganz tolle Sache.
Ich hätte eine Frage, die mir bewusst geworden ist, im Hineinführen von Menschen in den Blumen und wieder herausholen. Und zwar hat sich vor mir ein Bild aufgebaut, dass wenn die Menschen da drin sind und die Frequenzen sich im Raum bewegen und im Prinzip der Körper in irgendeiner Weise über diese Frequenzen abgerastert wird, wo die Problemzonen sind oder wo Energiestaus sind, dass in diesem Moment so etwas entsteht wie Überlagerung dieser Frequenzen, als ob es einen epigenetischen Fingerabdruck über denjenigen gibt und sein genaues Heilungsmuster ausgelöst wird. Ist diese Wahrnehmung möglich? Okay. Dann merkt man das alles.
Kerstin said, she noticed when she brought people into the blue room and took them out of the blue room, she had this picture, she imagined this picture that the frequency has been like a scan in different parts of the body where the
unterschiedliche Überlagerungen bilden, je
different
nachdem,
overlaying
wo die Energie
where the
staut.
energy blocks are.
Und als ob im
And
Raum
as if
ein
in the
persönliches
room
Bild
a
aufgebaut
personal
wird für diesen
image is
Patienten,
built
ein
up for
persönliches
that individual patient.
Yeah, you're describing acupuncture.
Du beschreibst
Very well.
Akupunktur sehr gut.
You're describing it really is.
Genau so ist es.
So when I started to
Als
design,
ich begonnen
the blue
habe,
room
den Room
with my partner,
mit meiner Partnerin zu
we had to
gestalten,
take in mind
haben
every
wir
modality
jede
and what
Modalität,
was the
jede
best part of these
Möglichkeit
modalities.
in Betracht gezogen und was ist das
And
Beste dieser
how many people know how long
Funktionsweise und
acupuncture has
wie
been
viele
around?
wie viele von Ihnen wissen, wie lange es Akupunktur bereits gibt?
We have 10,000 years.
10.000
We have
Jahre.
manuscripts that go back
Wir haben
10,000 years that
Manuskripte, die
show
10.000
why.
Jahre alt sind,
And
die das
it's
zeigen.
communication, correct?
Es ist Kommunikation,
That's why
richtig?
you put a needle here to either increase or decrease communication,
die Kommunikation
depend
zu
on
erhöhen oder zu
what
senken.
the doctor is
Je
determining.
nachdem, was der Arzt
So you're
bestimmt,
describing that
was zu
exact
tun ist.
effect,
Und genau diesen Effekt
which is
beschreibst
exactly
du.
what that blue room was designed to do.
Was genau das ist, der Effekt ist, wofür der Blue Room gestaltet wurde.
So you said sickness is an attitude that blocks the receptors, is that right? It blocks the receptors?
Sickness is really specifically a lack of good communication in the body.
Ist Krankheit etwas, was die Rezeptoren blockiert? Ist das, was Sie gesagt haben?
Sickness is a lack of good communication.
Krankheit ist der Mangel guter Kommunikation im Körper.
So why do you get a cold?
Warum bekommt man eine Erkältung? Warum?
Does anyone know why?
Weiß irgendjemand warum?
You're going to make me answer this one.
Sie bringen mich dazu, die Frage zu beantworten.
You get a cold because your immune system is not able to have good communication in order to fight a certain bacteria or virus.
Gegen ein bestimmtes Bakterium oder einen Virus anzukämpfen.
Now, the germ theory will tell us that the bacteria or virus, if it's too much, it overwhelms our immune system. And we get sick. Now, I want us all to be very intelligent for a moment. If that germ theory was real, we'd all be dead. We'd all be dead. Because we have all been exposed at any given moment to anything and everything that there is on the earth. For us doctors who have taken microbiology, I hope you did the swab on yourself and your throat culture. Do you remember this in medical school? What did you find on that swab? It scared me. I remember this, my first year of medical school. That is on you, in you, at any given moment. Your communication in your body is what keeps you healthy. Right? So when children are small, we have all had children, how many times do they drop food, pick up the food and just eat it, and you're like, oh my God. But they don't get sick. So if the germ theory was actually real, none of us would make it out of childhood. So it is a lack of communication. Why the communication breaks down? Many reasons. Decrease in nutrition, high stress,
hoher Stress, weniger
environmental toxins,
viele Gifte aus der
for
Umwelt,
example, heavy metals, pollution,
Schwermetalle,
bad food,
Verunreinigung, schlechtes Essen,
all of those different
all diese verschiedenen
things. So to
Dinge.
restore the communication
Also
process,
diesen Kommunikationsprozess wiederherzustellen,
you get healthy.
und indem man den wiederherstellt, wird man gesund.
Does that answer your question?
So if we don't change our attitudes and our habits, and so we can go like 100 times to the blue room, but it won't work because our cells can't communicate because we have this stress
It will help you.
Wenn wir also in den Blue Room gehen und unsere Einstellungen und Gewohnheiten nicht ändern, dann können wir 100-mal hingehen und es wird uns nicht helfen.
It will help you in that moment.
In dem Augenblick wird es helfen.
But as we know, if you continually have a lifestyle, like I just said, the definition of insanity,
fortführt.
is doing the same thing
Und,
over and over and expecting a different
was ich
result.
vorher gesagt habe,
And of course, you're going to have to keep coming back to the blue room over and over and over again. Whether it's your attitude, whether it's your lifestyle, whether it's the choices you eat, the people in your life, all of those
die
things.
Entscheidungen, die Menschen, die sich im jeweiligen Leben befinden, all das.
Danke, dass ich sprechen darf. Nach allem, was bis jetzt gesagt wurde, komme ich zu dem Schluss, dass wir es hier mit einem Reaktor zu tun haben. Wenn ich davon ausgehe, dass ich Seele bin und einen Menschen führe, dann würde plötzlich ein Bibelwort in diesem Zusammenhang Sinn machen. Trachtet zuerst nach dem Reich Gottes, dann wird euch alles andere zufallen. Damit meine ich in unserer Sprache übersetzt, wenn wir unsere Aufmerksamkeit darauf richten, was wir als Gott oder größte Liebe betrachten, innerhalb dieses Raums, während wir dieser Behandlung ausgesetzt sind oder während wir uns in dieser Behandlung befinden, dann müssten wir einen Mega-Effekt erzielen.
When listening to this, I would say we have a reactor, and I presume that we are souls and lead people.
Wir sind Seele, die einen Menschen führen.
We are souls leading people,
Und wir sind da, wo unsere
and we are there where our
Aufmerksamkeit ist.
attention is.
Dann müssten wir unsere
Then we would
Aufmerksamkeit
have our
eigentlich nur auf die höchste
attention
Göttlichkeit
only
richten,
to direct to the highest God
während wir innerhalb dieses Prozesses sind.
while we're in this process,
Dann müssten wir einen
and
Mega-Effekt
then we
haben.
would have a mega effect.
I agree.
Stimme zu.
Any more questions?
So Fragen?
Eine provokative Frage. Wie wirkt sich das heilende Licht auf Zellen aus, die im Todesprozess sich befinden?
A provocative question: how does the light affect cells being in the death process,
In the death process?
in the dying process?
Well, your cells are dying all the time.
Ihre Zellen sterben die ganze Zeit über.
That's a beautiful part of our bodies, that we have this beautiful balance.
Ein schöner Teil unseres Körpers.
You have something called anabolism in the body, which is building up, creating, and you have catabolism, which is destroying.
Metabolismus.
And sometimes part of the problem with different diseases
Und manchmal ist das Problem mit den unterschiedlichen
is that
Krankheiten,
you don't let certain things die off
dass man
before
manche
they get
Dinge
to become a
nicht
problem.
sterben lässt, bevor
Right?
sie zu einem Problem werden.
So the blue room helps with both sides.
Der
of
Blumen
that.
hilft auf beiden Seiten davon.
So for instance, if you have cells that are becoming cancerous or tumor cells,
die Krebszellen
you
werden
want-
Tumorzellen werden,
your catabolism side of your metabolism
dann gibt es die kannibalistische Seite des Metabolismus,
to
des
destroy
Stoffwetzes,
this.
das
You hope so.
zu
That's part of your
zerstören.
immune system.
Denn das ist
But if
völlig,
the
denn das ist
improper
Teil des
communication is
Immunsystems.
there,
Und
you end
wenn
up
es
having a
ordentliche
great disease.
Kommunikation gibt, dann gibt
So
man keine
the blue room helps
Krankheit.
restore both sides of that
Der
communication.
Blumen hilft also dabei, die beiden Seiten der Kommunikation wiederherzustellen.
Any more questions?
Weitere Fragen?
Would the blue room then strengthen or lengthen the telomere growth?
That's a good question.
Kannst du das auf Deutsch auch sagen, bitte? Würde der Blue Room dann die Telomere, das Wachstum der Telomere verstärken?
That's a very good question.
Eine sehr gute Frage.
Everyone understand what telomeres are?
Wissen alle, was Telomere
Well,
sind?
some.
Einige.
Telomeres
Telomere
recently in medicine have become very
sind in der
popular.
Medizin vor kurzem
because it
sehr beliebt
determines
geworden, weil
The rate at
sie
which your cells age or are healthy.
bestimmen,
And it's in
wie,
your DNA.
wie
You
schnell
have
ein
these
Alter
wonderful
man
arms
ist.
that we call
Und,
telomeres,
dann gibt es diese
that
wundervollen
either they're
Arme,
long or
Telomere,
they're
die
short,
entweder
and
lang
by
oder
being
kurz
long,
sind. Und
you
wenn
have
sie
a
so lang
wonderful
sind,
way of being healthy,
eine
depending on
wundervolle
many different things. But to
Möglichkeit,
make a very
gesund
short
zu sein,
story,
aber
you want them
das
very long
eine-
and healthy.
um das kurz zu sagen, will, dass sie sehr, sehr lang sind.
So
Das
your
sind-
DNA is
die
where?
DNA,
Stored where?
Es wird wo gespeichert?
For those of us,
Für diejenigen von euch.
the nucleus of the cell.
Das Wissen im Kern
Correct,
der
the
Zelle.
nucleus of the
Im
cell.
Kern der Zelle.
And in every one of your cells, you have this beautiful blueprint of
Schöne
exactly
Blaupause
what that cell is supposed to
dessen,
do.
was die Zelle tun soll.
And in order for it to be healthy, you have to have ample vitamin D. Vitamin D for your DNA and your telomeres are of utmost importance. So telomere health is, in my opinion, a byproduct of you all over being healthy. And there was this big debate in medicine that your genetics determine the length of your telomere. Correct? Well, we know this is false simply by looking at adopted children. There have been many genetic studies which have shown one family has, let's say, heart problems. They have an adopted child, and this child develops heart problems. Very similar to the non-related portion of that family. And we go, why? What is this? It's lifestyle. It's attitudes, all of those certain things that come into that lifestyle of that family. So telomere length, I think, is one way to see if you're healthy. But I think it's more important to be able to just know that you're healthy. Like you just said, I feel so good. That's a very good sign. And most of us don't realize that that is something you feel every day. Now I'm going to call some of you out. I saw some of us falling asleep. Most of us are always tired. Most of us are always stressed. Most of us have a focus on lack of time, lack of money, etc., etc. Now, just looking at that small aspect of your existence, how can you be healthy if that is your focus? I mean, that's the truth. How can you be healthy if that is your focus constantly? You can't. When you were a child, that wasn't your focus.
Als Kind war das nicht ihr Fokus.
Everyone's going to say, okay, yeah, Dr. Matt, you're an adult, this is the responsibilities, etc., etc. I have 2 clinics.
Ich habe 2 Kliniken.
I have small children.
Ich habe kleine Kinder.
I have anywhere from 600 to 1,200 patients a week between both of my clinics.
Pro Woche in den beiden Kliniken.
Now, if my focus wanted to be on stress,
auf Stress wäre, dann.
But that's not a healthy focus.
Aber das ist kein gesunder.
My focus is I am privileged to have these people in my life to help. I am privileged to be here. I am privileged to wake up every day and get to do this as my work. I love to go and exercise and sweat. I love to eat good food. Those aren't things for me that I look at like, oh my God, I've got to go exercise or I've got to eat this yucky food. And those who have been around me long enough, you can find joy in everything. It is simply the attitude that you desire to create in that moment. And if you look at that aspect, health.
Gesundheit.
Okay, any more questions?
3 Fragen.
Dr. Matt, ist es dann sinnvoll, dass man Vitamin D jeden Tag einnimmt, auch in den Sommermonaten, in den Pausen zwischen den Blue Room Besuchen? Und entweder nein oder wenn ja, wie viel? Es gibt hier zum Beispiel in Deutschland ein Präparat mit 20.000 Einheiten, die aber rezeptpflichtig sind.
So, Dr. Matt, does it make sense to take in vitamin D also in the summer months or in the time period between sessions in the room? And if yes, how much? Here in Germany there is a something existing that has 20,000 units, but it has to be prescribed.
Right. You know, this is a very good question.
Das ist eine sehr gute Frage.
You don't have vitamin D stores but maybe a little bit in your
keine
liver.
Vitamin D-Speicher. Vielleicht mal ein bisschen davon.
So you have to have constant vitamin or light to create vitamin D, or at least a supplement.
Vitamin D
And
zuführen.
this
Oder
is
erzeugen.
why, if you look at us and you just use your mind, we have a beautiful canvas to create vitamin D on every inch of our body. So you need to make sure you have vitamin D every day. Every day.
Jeden Tag brauchen wir Vitamin D.
And this is a great little, you'll get this. We have a cold and flu season, don't
Ja,
we?
wir haben gibt's hier eine Saison für
We say in
Erkältungserkrankungen.
medicine, no, it's cold and it's flu season. What time of year is that?
Der Arzt sagt, das ist die Zeit, wo alle erkältet sind. Welche Zeit
When you
des
get the
Jahres
lowest
ist das?
amount of vitamin D.
Wenn man das wenigste Vitamin D bekommt.
I don't believe there is
Ich
a
glaube
cold or
nicht,
flu
dass es
season. It's not like those
Jahreszeit
viruses or bacteria suddenly appear.
und,
They're in hiding and all of a sudden they come out.
dass sie sich irgendwo verstecken und dann plötzlich rauskommen.
It is your lack of understanding of education on what your body needs
Es
to be
ist
healthy
ein
every
Mangel
single
an
day.
Kommunikation.
You have to have essential
Man
vitamins
muss
every
die wesentlichen Vitamine
You have to have good rest,
jeden Tag haben. Und
good clean water,
Ausruhen, sauberes,
good
gutes
food,
Wasser, gutes
laughter,
Essen, Lachen
and de-stress.
und
It's not that difficult to become very healthy.
es
We
ist
just
nicht
get
sehr
in the way.
schwierig, gesund zu werden. Wir stehen uns im Weg.
So vitamin D every day is
Vitamin
very
D jeden
important.
Tag
Now,
ist sehr wichtig.
the RDA is something like ridiculous, like
Die
400 IUs, I believe, a
Empfehlungswerte
day.
sind sehr
It's
lächerlich.
minimal.
Es ist
I generally
Minimum.
recommend for a healthy
Ich
person,
empfehle für eine gesunde
around
Person
10,000 IUs a day is very important. And most doctors go, oh my God, 10,000. Show me one case
Zeigen Sie mir einen Fall,
of vitamin D
wo Vitamin D
toxic exposure where someone has died. Show me one.
bei jemandem nachweisbar ist, der
I've been
gestorben ist.
to
Es
many
gibt es toxische
medical schools to speak on this subject.
Wenn
No
jemand
one
dieses Thema
can show me
spricht,
anyone who has
konnte mir
died
jemanden zeigen,
from overdosing on
der
vitamin
an einer Überdosis Vitamin D gestorben wäre.
D. It doesn't happen.
Das geschieht nicht.
If you tried,
Wenn man das versucht,
it'd probably take you at least a month of every day.
dann
Good
braucht
luck.
man zumindest einen Monat jeden Tag.
So we have to change the philosophy and the way we look at the body.
Wir müssen also die Philosophie ändern, wie wir den Körper
Light is the best way to get your vitamin D, so I recommend that you try to get light exposure every day. If you can't, try to have a supplement in your diet. Now, the supplement is not what you make. It is a synthetic version that is not biologically engineered by you to fit perfectly with your body. So this is going to be a new concept for some people. When you create a hormone, vitamin D is very much like a hormone. In your body, it is specifically designed for your cells. It is created by your body to fit you. So my vitamin D that I create is different from Dr. Kirsten's and Bernhardt's, and mine would not be very good for their body because it was designed for me. So for you to make your own vitamin D on a daily basis is critical to your health.
Ihr eigenes Vitamin D erzeugen ist entscheidend für ihre Gesundheit.
Now I want us to think of our great-grandparents.
Möchte ich, dass wir an unsere Urgroßeltern denken.
Did they have sunscreen?
Hatten sie Sonnencreme?
Did they have vitamin D supplements?
Hatten sie Vitamin D Ergänzungen?
Were they outside a lot?
Waren sie viel draußen?
Yes. Did they grow gardens?
Sie hatten Gärten?
Now, what was the rate of cancer,
Und was
especially
war
skin
die
cancer,
Krebsrate, vor allem
for our
Hautkrebsrate
great-grandparents?
bei unseren Urgroßeltern?
was almost non-existent.
Beinahe nicht existent.
Basal cell carcinoma,
Die Zellen,
squamous cell carcinoma, metastatic cancers
Metastasische Krebs
are things of this
sind
generation,
Dinge dieser Generation.
and this is the truth.
Und das ist die Wahrheit.
And so therefore you must be educated enough to look at the statistics and look at what we've been doing to ourselves in health.
Zu sehen, was wir uns
It's time
selbst
to make a
antun.
change.
Und es ist die Zeit, eine Veränderung zu machen.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Vielen Dank an alle. Vielen Dank.
I have another question about the number of the vitamin D receptor sites on the cells. Does they increase when we are doing a lot of blue room sessions, and is that one of the effects to increase the communication in the body? Also die Frage in Deutsch, wenn wir in den Blue Room gehen, ob die Vitamin D3-Rezeptoren sich auf den Zellwänden vermehren und ob das dann einen Effekt hat auf die Kommunikation des Körpers, die gesunde Kommunikation des Körpers.
You won't increase any receptor sites, but what you do is increase the communication process.
Wenn wir nicht die Rezeptoren erhöhen, sondern die Kommunikation.
Who's played Tetris before?
Wer hat
Remember
Tetris
Tetris?
gespielt?
The game where you fit all the pieces
Dieses
together.
Spiel, wo all die Teilchen zusammenpassen.
So your cells have various places for hormones and vitamins to fit on the cell. And they kind of fit that way. So when you take a vitamin D supplement, for instance, your cells will say, okay, that's a vitamin D, I recognize it, but it's not your vitamin D, so we'll use it for a little while, but we're not going to be able to use it as effectively because the communication process isn't there. So as you use the blue room and you create more of your own vitamin D, your communication process for vitamin D to be utilized in the body does increase.
Für das Vitamin D einfach verbessert.
Any more questions? No. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for coming.